Hi everyone, it's me, Elna from elnakane.com. Oh, I better change this real quick. Hold on. Alrighty. All right, so I'm going live right now to do some freelance writing questions. So let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me. You can let me know with a thumbs up or if you're here or whatnot. But earlier in the day, I did post on my page to ask some questions. So I'm going to start answering some questions for sure. So if you have any freelance writing questions or blogging questions, just pop them in right now and I can help you answer them, okay? So if you don't know who I am, my name is Elna and I've been a freelance writer for, I guess, almost 5 years, it seems like. And it's only been the last 2 years or so that I've been a full-time writer and blogger for sure, since my twins have gone to school, right? So they're going to be going in grade 1 next, or this September. So this will be the third year in school. So I'm super excited. Hi, everyone. Glad you're here. Okay, good. I got a thumbs up, which means that we are on a roll. So let's get to it. Hey, Tyler. Awesome. You're in Florida. Is it buggy over there? Is it hot and humid? It's hot and humid over here right now. Tomorrow, I hear it's going to be a high of 38, which is Celsius. So whatever that converts, over 100, I think, in Fahrenheit, but super humid. So my hair is already getting the frizz right now. So yeah, okay. I can talk about my hair and frizz all day. Let's go to questions. I'm going to be looking over on my other screen. So just to read the questions to you. I guess I can move them over a little bit over here. Maybe I can do that. Okay. Oh, hey. Tongue-tied for love of language. Ooh, nice. Glad you're here. Okay. So the first question is from Elena Arat and Justin Matagi. Okay. So she asks 3 questions, so hopefully I can answer them. All right. So the first one is, how did you end up with a copywriting work without any experience on it? Was your first copy work paid, gig, or free? All right. So, when I first started becoming a freelance writer, I landed a gig with Blogging Wizard, right? So I think for me, learning about copywriting, I went to several different types of blogs that helped me learn about copywriting. But I think my background in psychology sort of helped me understand like human behavior and getting in the minds of people. I found that really interesting. So for a while, I was really hooked onto like consumer psychology and why people buy, how people buy, what trigger points do people have, what emotional ties do they have for buying, and so learning that type of content can help you with your copywriting to engage audience for your clients. So I can just go right now. I'm going to show you in a second 2 sites that I think you should visit to learn more about copywriting. Of course, you can take courses, but I mean, try the DIY first. I mean, that's what I did. So the first one is Copy Hackers. Joanna Wiebe is a well-known copywriter. So her blog has some amazing posts and resources for you. So Copy Hackers is a really great blog to learn more about copywriting. And then the other one is, Copy Blogger. What happened to Copy? Is it called Copy Blogger? I haven't been to it in a couple years. I must have spelled it wrong. Okay, Copy Blogger. Here's the other one right there. So you go to their blog and they have some really great blog posts and from really great freelance writers too that I know, right? So take a look at those things, and they have free resources as well. Some really great guides. Okay, so you can take a look at those 2 sites for sure. And I'm trying to think what else I did. My first real copywriting gig was a ghostwriting gig, so I can't really talk about it, but I did a website copy for that person for a couple of her landing pages. And so she had some services to sell, and so I was able to draft some copy for the type of services that she was selling. So I'm just going to use a tissue real quick. I apologize. My nose is running. Oh, okay. So I just dove right in. And I got paid for that. So that was my first like real copywriting gig. And then from there, I picked up several other gigs doing different types of copywriting, mostly landing page optimization. So getting gigs about writing landing page for like freebies, not really sales pages, but more like opt-ins for their email list. So I did a couple of those. Those aren't my particular favorite though, actually. So I don't pick up copywriting gigs, specific copywriting projects. Even though they're high paying, I really don't pick those up because my love is blog writing and I can infuse my copywriting in my blog writing to engage people through my words and writing on blogs. It's very conversational and that's what I like to do. So I really don't pick up those gigs. And if they do come my way, I do give them to my course students and write your way to first 1K. So are you a course student of mine? You might be. All right. So now I need to find, my Facebook questions. Where are they? Hold on, you guys. Oh, here they are. Okay. Number 2 of her question. For new freelance writers, what's your advice when it comes to payment? Collect 50% up front or after work? It is really up to you and what you feel comfortable doing. Honestly, I am more happy to get paid after the month, after the project. I have no qualms about that. But there are a lot of writers that want that 50% upfront. So go ahead and request that. I don't think prospects in other businesses will find that odd. I think it's a normal part of doing business. So it is really up to you. But like for me personally, I don't push that part of my business at all because I do work with a lot of fellow bloggers that I know that I've come to respect. My most latest gig, I mean, I don't even push if I'm getting paid. Just being on that platform is enough for me, kind of thing. So any kind of payment that I get is just icing on my cupcake. I am looking for bigger brands, getting on bigger platforms. That is my way of making more money, so that I get known across different brands and platforms, than getting paid for that one specific blog post for that person. All right, so I have. Again, that's just my monetization strategy. That's what I'm doing. But when I first started as a freelance writer, I made sure to, in my email, to tell them that I want to get paid after every blog post or after every week or every month. And we laid that out. We laid out the terms, and generally all my clients agreed to that. So I had no problems with that. And then her third question was tips to write a blog or any writing fast, given the topic idea is already there. So she says, I ended up 6 hours to write from scratch to final draft for one blog post and I feel burnt out already. Yes, I feel you. Yeah. What I can suggest is practice writing. That's your key to pumping out content fast. I've been doing this for 5 years, so I can write 1,000 words in like almost 30 minutes, like even less than that now, especially on a topic that I love writing about. But if you go to keyhero.com. Key Hero has a free typing test. I'll plug that into the comments. Ooh, are my comments taking? Yeah, okay. So, play around and take some typing tests. Do writing every day, okay? It doesn't have to be a blog post. It doesn't have to be an email, but you can write comments on Facebook, social media posts, things like that. A rough draft if you're working on a novel, just do a little bit of writing every day to facilitate that process. What you really want to work on is streamlining your process. I do have a blog post on that to help you. Actually, oops, I just typed in my name. I think I did a Facebook Live. Did I do a Facebook Live? I did recently did a Facebook Live on a writing process. Here, the writing process for online writers. If you can streamline the process of how you research the post, your outline, how long does it take you to write an outline? It should take you no more than, I'd say, 10 minutes to really get a skeleton of an outline. And then as you're writing and as you're going through the online process, you can fine tune that outline, but it should really be no more than a couple minutes to quickly just note your points for your blog post. All right, so I'll drop this in too. So you take a look at the writing process. I think there's a video in this post as well. All right, so hopefully that helped you. Now I have to find I keep messing up where I find my questions. Here we go. All right, so I hope that helped you. There's a lot of comments going on. Tongue tie. Oh, Glenn. Hi, Elna. Good to see you after some time. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you have some time to come join me. All right. I see you have a question, but I'm going to answer these other questions first. Okay. Okay. More questions. Okay. So let me just go through these real quick. Someone asks, I think, Chima, how easy is it to get clients if you're operating from Africa, Nigeria? That's a great question, but that's something that I have no knowledge about. I live in Canada, so I don't know about the markets in other countries, but I suggest you find a freelance writer in your country and collaborate with them. I believe Denzel is one, and even who is it? Writers in Charge, Bombadil. So I'm going to talk about him in a little bit. But Bombadil, I think he operates in Africa, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong. But you start collaborating with these types of freelance writers, and see where they're getting their gigs. How are they getting clients? And you guys can collaborate together. That should help you for sure. All right, Chima, I'm sorry if that didn't fully answer your questions. Okay, Christina asks, if one wants to start ghostwriting for others, what kind of samples and where should they be posted are required? If you want to do ghostwriting, samples could be anything that you are interested in writing about. So it doesn't have to be about the ghostwriting experience, but you can write samples. So if you want to ghostwrite, let's say you want to ghostwrite for in the pet industry for big, I don't know, pet influencers, then your content would be pet writing about whatever the pet industry. And then on your website, you would talk about, that you are a ghost blogger and that you write for, you can say big brands. You can write for notable brands, for influencers. You can give some kind of titles to the type of clients that you have. And then you can put a little blurb saying, if you want to see my writing, it's available upon request kind of thing. So instead of showcasing your client work, if you have ghostwriting work, just create samples and start guest posting in that niche kind of thing. Oh, hey, Chris, glad you're here. Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. Glad you can make it. I hope it's a nice day where you are, or evening. My twins just went to bed, so I am rattling off these questions. All right. And you ask, where should they be posted? Your samples should be posted on your writer website, but you can also post them on Medium. Medium is a blogging platform. You can post them on Contently. Contently is a portfolio platform, so you can create a profile and upload your pieces there. So those are great places to showcase your work. But your writer website is what will sell your services to ghostwriting clients. All right. So I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head of a freelance writer that is promoting ghostwriting services at this moment right now. No, I can't. But try to find those writers. Look at their writer website. See how they're marketing themselves. Hope that helped, Christina. All right, Pavunish, how can we sell pre-written content? Do PLR companies need freelance writers, and how do we find them to apply to? That's a great question. I really don't know much about PLR content. Actually used to know what that stands for, but I don't remember what they stand for right now at the top of my head. But I've never heard about this concept of selling your writing in that way. I don't even know what marketplaces you would go to. You would have to find someone that's knowledgeable in PLR content and follow them. Maybe on YouTube, they might have a tutorial on this process, and see where you can pitch your stories. I would think any kind of pre-written stuff you can pitch to like magazines and say you have this story. I mean, even if you go to like Harbo, helpareporterout.com, you might find that some journalists need stories about whatever you have as pre-written. Honestly, I really don't know. So that's something to look into. All right, Denzel asks, there are a ton of writers. The problem isn't writing. The problem is how other marginalized continents can get access to big opportunities from native English speaking countries. And then Pavunish also said she agrees with that. You are marginalized by not being a native English speaker, not living in the US, and your name as well. These are all great questions and something that I cannot really help you with. But as I was mentioning, you know, someone like Bamadel, if you look at his story, I mean, he grew up in Nigeria in what he calls the slums. And he, I think at 16, he went to a internet cafe, stole some internet there, and started writing, and was able to get onto big blogs and enough money to get his internet where he lived. And so look at him now. And I mean, he's a young fellow here. So, you know, look at stories that inspire you and see how are they doing it. You know, one thing that I think Bamadel had a case study. I think he did a case study, so you should review that. Let's see, inside the look of the results. So I think he did a couple years ago, try to break into freelance writing, completely new, without any recognition of who he was, on a completely different niche. And he was able to make like $1,000 in his first, what it says, 30, oops, this is not it, 31 days or something like that in a month. Let me see. That's the challenge announcement. Here, let me find you. I was tooting around his site and I was reading. It's the results. He had a results. Is this it? Yeah, revealed. His strategy revealed. He has a lot of different posts about this. Earn your first $1,000 as a freelance writer. So I'm going to put this story in here. Take a look at how on his blog, he talks about the whole process of how he niched himself and how he landed clients. So, you know, one of the best things that you can do is make sure you have a solid niche that's profitable and stay in that niche. Don't be a catch-all type of writer, okay? And your writing has to stand out. All right, so if you look at someone like Henneke, okay, her name isn't a classic English name, right? She's no Brittany or, you know, Kristen or, you know, whatever, Sarah. Her name, you know, she is obviously she's Swedish or something like that. And so, you know, what did she do to make herself more likable or more presentable and relatable? Well, she has a little audio here. If you click on it, she talks to you. So let's listen. Can you hear it? I don't know if you can hear it, but she's saying her name is Henneke, right? So something like that, right? So she's just showing everyone that she's being great and everything. So, and you can see on her site that she's doing everything possible to show people that may not trust her because she has a non-English native name and that, you know, maybe she might not know the English market. She's trying to show everyone that, yes, she does. Because look at all of her testimonials, look at all her social proof. So writers that aren't classically like in the US, that aren't English or whatever you call it, those barriers, you're going to have to work harder to show social proof. So working with those big influencers, you know, Bamadel has the Carol Tice, has Carol Tice's backing. I mean, Carol Tice writes about him. She approves of him or whatever, you know, so that's a big thing. She's a big freelance writer in this whole industry. So getting those top influencers in your industry to vouch for you is probably key and will help you in the long run. It might take a while. I mean, like I said, I'm not too familiar with all this stuff. This is just on the top of my head what I was thinking about to try to help you guys. I know Pavunish is in my course, so I hope you're having some kind of success. And I know you're a mom blogger as well. So I think you write parenting topics for teens. So yeah, you're really working hard. And so it's just showing your writing is stellar, guest posting and having that stellar content, and then on your writer website, having that testimony and that social proof is so crucial for people that are struggling to gain those clients. Okay. So I hope that helped. All right. Hi, everyone. Okay, I'm going to try and find the questions again. Here we go. Okay. Needy asks, lately I am feeling total illiterate when it comes to creating SEO-friendly content. If you could share some tips and resources. Yes. So if you don't know what SEO stands for, it's search engine optimization. And what that does is it helps businesses get known on Google faster. So, when you use Google, you type a question and usually you get pages and pages and pages of results. I highly doubt you're going to literally go to page 50 and click on a blog post at the bottom of that page, right? No, you're going to pick the first result, the second result, anyone on the first page, probably, right? I can only assume that. And so the blogs and sites that are on page 1 are either big brands or they've used SEO to rank in Google on that first page kind of thing. So a lot of clients are asking writers to produce that type of content. And so what you can do is start learning about SEO, right? So, a good resource is Backlinko. I don't even think they even have a hub. I put this in my course Facebook group for my course students, and I'm going to see if I can give this to you if I can remember where it is. So Backlinko has a lot of good resources about SEO in general. Hey, Natalie. Glad you're here. Hey, everyone. All right. And then I think this is what is it called? A hub? There was some kind of hub, like a learning hub he had. Here, SEO Marketing Hub. Is this it? It's free. It's a free library, it says. Dun, 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 dun. Look at all this cool stuff, right? So there's a whole bunch of learning things here. So I'm going to pump this in. So take a look at that to learn more about SEO. And then you can also try some tools and just get an idea. So something like Ubersuggest. Did I spell that right? Yes, Ubersuggest is a free keyword tool. So, you might get a prospect or client saying, I need you to use this keyword in your writing. Can you optimize your blog post for this keyword? And this is where you would search for it. So, you can type in breastfeeding, and let's say you need to write a magazine about breastfeeding tips or something, a magazine article or a blog post about it. Type in your keyword breastfeeding and see what kind of keywords come out and see how popular it is, and see if that client, if he asked for breastfeeding, you can get some more ideas. So it takes a couple seconds here. Okay. So it gives you search results. It's a very popular word. It's also very broad. It's just breastfeeding. So, it's going to be very, very, very broad. But you can look and see okay, breastfeeding tips, breastfeeding benefits, breastfeeding diet, thrush, pillow, drinking, all these types of keywords you can casually mention in a post about breastfeeding tips, right? I have a post on one of my blogs about breastfeeding tips. And I'm not sure if I have these supplemental keywords, but it would be just natural for me to write those types of related keywords. All right. So you can use a tool like this to sprinkle your content with some of these keywords and help your client if your client wants that type of content. So I'm just going to put in this link for you to play around with a keyword tool. All right. So hopefully that helps. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm having major problems. Okay. Hi, everyone. And I actually recently updated Write Your Way to First 1K with an SEO lesson. So one of my newest clients actually really wants me to use SEO. And so very strategically. So I show you guys the brief that I got from my client. Of course, I, didn't share much of anything. I whited out or redacted some information, I guess it's called. But I did show you the keywords and what information I was provided and how I was going to write that blog post and where I was going to put those keywords in. So it's a really good lesson. in my course. So I'm really happy about that. Okay, let's look at some more questions here. Okay, someone asked, does freelance writing passively imply to the clients that you'll be their ghostwriter and they not attribute the piece to you? If yes, do you charge more? Is it even an ethical practice? No, freelance writing doesn't passively imply that you're going to be a ghostwriter. No, I've never come across that. But I make it clear that in an email when I'm negotiating that I say my byline content is this rate, my ghostwriting content is this rate. All right. So you make it very clear from the beginning. Let me know what kind of service you want from me, kind of thing. And I've had no problems with that at all. And you would charge more for ghostwriting for sure. And it's up to you. Some writers charge, they double their rate for ghostwriting content. I don't. I only go up, I think, like 20 or 30%. It really doesn't matter because a lot of them are already clients of mine. So it's, like I said, I want that relationship more than really the monetary value of that stuff. For me personally, I'm sort of at a different part of my business that I want to collaborate more and network more. That is much more valuable for me than the actual money that I get from the writing that I do. All right, she asks how to pitch. That's a very general question. How to pitch. I would try pitching to job boards first. I mean, it is a very low entry way, but it's a really good beginner way. So I have a blog post on like the best job boards. Why don't you go there first and toot around? Sorry, I got a scratch right here. And see if, see what kind of job boards there are. There's other job boards out there besides the ones I put in this post. I only mentioned 5, but there's hundreds and hundreds of them. So, take a look at the job boards. And then once you see something that you like, you can craft a pitch for them stating who you are, what you do. What am I looking for? Okay, here. What you do, what services you provide, showcase your writing, put a link to your writer website, things like that in your pitch. And her last question was, do you have sample resume or writer CVs to suggest before we advertise our writing services? Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to have a sample page on your site somewhere to showcase your writing. I mean, even if you just have like a blog, try that. I mean, if your blog has actionable advice and it's helping an audience, similar to the type of content a client wants, right? They're not going to look at your blog post if it's more like a diary entry and think, oh, you're the writer for me, right? But if you have a blog post about like potty training tips for 2-year-olds, like that is more actionable and helpful for an audience that it would relate and translate better for a prospect looking to hire a writer, right? So if you have some kind of content like that as a blog, then you can use that instead of like a samples page. But by far the most converting way to gain clients is through a writer website with a samples page or portfolio page. So I hope that helped. Stephanie, aside from setting up a writer's website and blog for samples, on the legal side of things, what do you need to do? Oh, legal stuff I do not talk about. So that's something that you need to talk to someone else about. My husband deals with all the legal and business side of my business, so I really don't divulge into that online at all. So I'm sorry about that, Stephanie. What I can do is I can ask my husband and I can message you if you really need to know that answer. All right, Kristen. How quickly did you work up to making $200 or more with your articles? I'm exhausted from making $40 to $60 because I need so many articles like this to even make a living. I'm already struggling with burnout due to the quantity that I'm having to pump out. Man, I totally feel you. I hope you're not doing this like this is not long term, that you've been doing this for a long time. I've met writers that have been doing that type of writing for years, and I can only imagine. I mean, like I feel for you. For me, if you don't know my story, like my first real introduction to freelance writing was writing for content mills. And I didn't even know they were content mills in the beginning. Even my husband didn't know. He was just like, here's iWriter. Why don't you pick up a gig? It looks real easy. So I'm like, okay, very easy to sign up, very easy to find something. But of course, I mean, the first opportunity I got paid like $1 I don't even know, 50 or something for like over 3 hours of work that I absolutely hated because it was a toy description. And I hate product descriptions. I really, really do. So, yeah, that I knew I didn't want to do that. And that was not what I was thinking as a freelance writer. Like there was no way I could sustain that at all. So I took a little break. I decided to get off of those marketplaces. I even went to whatever Upwork, Odesk. I think it was Odesk before it was Upwork. Like I went to those places before and nothing. I wasn't getting any gigs. So I decided to start my writer website, and that's what opened the doors. I presented myself as like a legit copywriter, or not copywriter, a freelance writer with some, copyright experience, because again, I was taking that time to learn all about this stuff. And I picked up my first like legit gig at $100 a post, like for 800 words. So for me to go from $100 to $200, every client, I up my rate. So it probably took about almost 10 months to get to that range. Maybe a little bit less. I can't really remember. But it all depends on the clients you're attracting. All right. So pay attention to the clients that you are attracting. You want to attract clients that can pay your value as a writer, right? And to do that, you need a writer platform that showcases that type of writing and that type of presence online. So like, this is my writer website. I've kept this copy, this look for years now, because this is my most optimized and converting writer website, because it commands authority. It shows my expertise in this niche. And so I can land gig after gig, and people email me constantly for writing work because of my writer website here. Okay. And then if people go to my blog, they go right to Elna Kane, which has nothing to do with digital marketing, but they can see that I am pumping out content constantly. I do have some, comments here. I have some engagement. I have social shares. They can toot around and look and see like, oh, wow, she's writing consistently here, kind of thing. And so even though it's not in the niche that I am marketing myself, it shows that I am marketing my blog in a way. It's like indirectly shows my digital marketing aspect, I guess. So yeah, what was the question? Oh yeah. So how often? So yeah, the writer website really helps. And so if you need help with if you don't have a writer website, maybe that's the issue with you. I don't know. Let me just show you real quick. I have a course, writer website in a weekend. It's really budget friendly. Like honestly, it really is. Here it is, but it's only on my Teachable page. So I'm going to put a link here so you can take a look at it to see if that's going to help. Kristen, okay? So yeah. All right. I hope that helped. Grace, how to write about content you may not be interested in or find maybe a bit scummy. Ooh. I have an offer on the table. It's pretty low, but I'm just starting out and I need gigs that will give me good feedback. But it's writing for a drama content site. They want articles about fails. And I just don't know if I'll be able to find the motivation to work on this for so long. Honestly, I think you might do better just doing guest blogging, instead. Why don't you build up your portfolio with content that you love to write about? You're not going to get paid, although there are paid guest posting sites available. There are. But even something like Thrive Global is a great platform. You can sign up. So sign up for a platform on Thrive Global, submit your blog post, and I'm pretty sure within a couple days, it'll just get published. This is a site that from Ariana Huffington, right? So she started the Huffington Post. She's no longer there. So she's now doing, Ariana Huffington is now doing Thrive Global. So it's a very prestigious type of site. There are big brands that even write on this blog. Oh, I don't even remember who I saw last time, but I saw some of the names are big brands. So you can sign up, get a profile on here, start pumping out your content, get guest posts, put it on your writer website. and start reaching out to the people. You're going to get better gigs that way than starting with like your gig that's really low paying, that's something that you don't even want to write. I mean, that's how I started with iWriter. Like, I almost gave up. Like, it just wasn't for me. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. So, like, honestly, it's up to you. You can give it a try and see how it works, but there are better opportunities for sure. So I hope that helped, Grace. Ashley, tips for getting a pitch accepted on places like Psychology Today, Psych Central. I know I read you did some psychology writing, and I love to do that. I have a degree in psychology, but I'm having trouble figuring out topics to pitch about that will actually get accepted. Yeah, I mean, you can find, so like, what was it? Psych Central. So yeah, what I did, I was able to write on Psych Central because they had editorial submissions. They had guest posting opportunities. So why don't you type, psychology blogs, write for us, and get a whole bunch of sites that accept guest writing, and then you can at least get some portfolio items in that way. And some of those places might even end up hiring you. I mean, that happened to me on one of the guest posting things that I did. So that's an opportunity. I didn't get paid for any of the psychology writing. Those were all guest posts for me. But I did land one, like a productivity blog that's sort of psychology based, but that was only because the client that I had multiple sites in different niches. And so he felt that I was a good fit for that blog of his because of my psychology background. So I was writing about psychology content and productivity things on that blog, but he ended up closing that blog down. So it made me think like, oh, maybe it's not really a good niche. It was a hard niche to break into for him. So he cut his losses there. So, I mean, in saying that, it might, psychology isn't sort of like this big lucrative niche. It might be hard for you, but if it's the writing that you truly love, you really need to have to sit down and find that client that is for you. It might be magazines. It might be, I honestly, I don't even know what's out there as far as like that, the medical side, psychology side of it. So you might have to broaden your niche a little bit to include different types of things like mental health. And instead of like calling it like psychology based. So I hope that helped, Ashley. Christina, I have trouble coming up with ideas for content, or even samples. What's a great first piece subject to get started with? How can one narrow their niche down enough to just get started? And how can we overcome fear that our writing isn't good enough to even post a sample? Well, I feel for you, Christina. I want to give you a big hug. Yes, writing is very personal. It really is. But what I found when I started writing online, I don't know, I found it so like liberating and freeing. Like even this Facebook Live, like even though there are people, how many people are watching me? It says there's 27 people watching me, which is awesome. But I don't even realize that because I'm just talking to this microphone and that's it. Like it's very freeing for me, especially writing online. So I'm showing you my Facebook questions there. So I'm showing you all of. Sorry, I'm writing all that stuff online, and it's not bothering me until, of course, I get critiqued, right? Until I get that bad review, and that's happened to me a couple times. And I really do have to pick myself up. But it just makes me a stronger writer. It really does. When I get those types of negative feedback, it's rare. Like I've probably only gotten 2 or 3 at all ever, in the 5 years that I've been doing this. So it does, knock me down a bit, but I know that there are like hundreds of other people that adore my writing, maybe even thousands of people that adore my writing. So I just have to think about that. I have to think that there are clients that will pay me for my writing, and there are clients for you, Christina, that will pay you for your writing. You just have to show up. You really do have to show up. So coming up with like blog post ideas, it all depends on your niche. And so you're having problems narrowing your niche. Why don't you pick a couple niche topics and write about, if you want to write about, let's say, productivity and parenting and yoga. I mean, have a couple blog posts in each of those niche topics and start finding clients in those industries. From there, you can see which industry is taking off. Maybe your yoga content, you found 3 yoga clients that want your yoga content and they're going to pay you $100 a post. Wow. Okay. You're going to go in that vein and you're going to pump out that yoga content. It's probably byline. Some of it's byline. You can add more to your portfolio and you're going to start landing more health clients. Maybe the next client is a juicing company. And so they say that you do yoga content and they're going to hire you for their juicing content about like healthy living tips, right? So you have to play around with different niche topics, write in those different topics. As far as finding like an actual topic, I mean, you want to find topics that help solve a problem. Okay. So like with your yoga, think of the audience. Like, who do you want to write about? Do you want to write about like postpartum moms? Do you want to write about college students? Do you want to write to kids? You know, maybe you want like kid-friendly yoga ideas. That could be a blog post, right? You can write about like, maybe there are people that don't know that yoga can help you lose weight. So you can write a post about 5 ways yoga can help you lose weight, right? So that type of content is actionable because it solves a problem. And it's framed in a way that is engaging for a person, right? So prospects like that, they want to see that type of content. So hopefully that helped you with like like what to write about. And then narrowing your niche. You don't have to narrow your niche right away. I would say give it some time. Find out what you like writing about, what is paying you, and then go from there. All right. Let's look. Taz, do you absolutely have to have your website set up with samples before you pitch? Could you possibly produce a pitch and then just send as an attachment a different sample of your writing so that the potential client can see what you have to offer? No, you don't absolutely need to have a website to be a freelance writer. But if you want to make a living out of this, I highly suggest you have a writer website. I mean, it's hard to show what you do. Like, for example, I recently hired a copywriter. So I went into Facebook, I tooted around, I asked some people some questions about my sales page, or my sales funnel, not my sales page, my sales funnel. I got some responses and I found one. I looked and she had a link on her email signature to her website, I believe. So I went to it and that's what sold me, right? That's what got me interested in her because she was legit. So this is what I mean about like proving yourself that you're an actual writer. So for example, let's look at Chelsea. Chelsea is a blogger and a freelance writer. I don't know which came first for her. I think maybe she was a blogger here. She has a beautiful blog, Motherhood and Mayhem. Okay. And she has great content here about parenting stuff, right? So some are fun. 70 activities for the entire family, right? So again, this is a actionable post. It has activities that solves a problem for her audience. Moms that have probably more than one kid and that need some time for themselves or need time to clean their house or do other things. All right, so this is a valuable post. So you can take a look and see how she structured this post, right? She gives a couple of sentences for each of these activities, right? She has a video. Again, more help. All right. And she has a nice pin image. So it keeps going on and on and on here. See? So it has a lot of great ideas here to help anyone that is interested, right? And she even provided a nice checklist for someone. Great. So she has this great blog, right? But what would sell me is, this is a nice blog, and she might get a couple people saying, you know what, I have a blog. Do you do writing? Can I hire you? Right. But I think what will really get her writing sold is her writer website. So she has a site called Simply Written. All right. So there you go. She knows that she needs a separate site for her service because this is what will get her work. Right. So even though she has a blog and even though she has great content there, I mean, she has a writer website with samples here. And you can see they're not all her blog posts. These are like actual guest posting sites, right here, or even clients of hers. I don't even know if these are clients of hers, but you see how she is showing like she's legit. She has a great blog here. She's building up this website here with great content. She has social media profiles, so she's legit, and she has a writer website that she's guest posted or has client work here, right? This tells me that she knows a lot about WordPress. She knows a lot about content. So I would hire her for writing kind of thing, right? So like, you're asking like, do you need a writer website? No, you don't need one, but it just makes it better and you land better gigs that way if you do. If you need money quickly, go ahead. Pitch to some paid guest blogging sites. Get some writing up there. Start pitching and submit samples. You mentioned in your question you want to use like an attachment. I personally wouldn't do that. I would host your samples on like Medium or LinkedIn. So host your samples on those websites if you don't have a website of your own. And then you can give prospects that link. Okay? Don't give them like an attachment because like people will not open your email. They might think it's like a virus or something. Like I personally I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't open up emails if I got an attachment kind of thing, if I didn't know who it was from. All right. So I hope that helped. All right. Elena asks, how to sign up to Contently. I always end up doing email verification, and after verifying it, it says I'm already signed in, but it doesn't go any further other than asking me to verify my email again. I honestly don't know. I signed up to Contently like probably 4 years ago. So I don't know the process. You might want to ask in like a freelance writing group about Contently. Maybe they might know that answer. So try that out. Amy, you answered my question about cold pitching versus warm pitching earlier. Awesome. But what would you say is the best bet for bringing income quicker while you work to build relationships and connect with potential clients? And how do you know the right time to reach out and send a pitch after working to build that connection? Wow, that's a lot of questions. Let's see how I can answer this. What's the best way to bring income quicker? Job boards. Job boards are quicker. And paid guest opportunities are somewhat quicker, although you might get paid months later. And using Facebook. So Amy, on Facebook in Facebook groups that have promo days, I want you to create a little graphic in Canva that says, that has some kind of call to action, like, tired mama can't blog anymore, let me write for you or something. I don't know, whoever your client is. I don't even know who your prospect is. But if it's other like mom bloggers, maybe you can start getting paid with that type of content for mom bloggers, for example. Like maybe you can do that and get a couple gigs that way. And then you can work your way up to like businesses that have like a product. So like, I know there's a mom in one of my groups that has a child's first aid kit. I think it's called Prepare Kit. She has a website and she might have a blog, right? So she has like a legit business. So that would be like your next step, is to find like maybe mompreneurs with a Etsy shop or with like a product, right? And then once you land some gigs with content there, then you can even go up to like maybe bigger brands. So like maybe like a magazine gig, or like even like a baby food company that's not like really known, but it's, up in the up and up, right? So like you want to sort of create that like a career ladder and start charting that, so you can have that motivation to work your way up from like the blogging clients to like the entrepreneur clients to the small brand to the big brand, right? That could be your journey, and that could work for you, right? But if you want to pick up gigs first, you're going to pick lower paying gigs. Ooh, and I did a live about this cold pitching hack. I even have a blog post with the video. So watch that, because there's a cool hack there about cold pitching that maybe might work for you actually. Now that I think about it, is this it? Yeah. Go to this post, Amy, and watch the video, okay? And try this tactic. I want you to try it. All right. All right, Gail, I have a website through Weebly with them as much host. So it was the Weebly.com extension. Does it make that much a difference as not being a true professional in the eyes of clients? If your URL isn't like something.com and it's something.weebly.com, I mean, it can make you look a little bit less professional, but it's worth a try. Try it out and see what works. I mean, you can only try and take action. I'm sure you can land some clients if you have stellar content, if you have a good call to action, things like that. Tammy, I'm probably going to miss the live. Oh, I hope not, but we'll watch the replay. Thank you so much. Totally just starting to learn about this, so not even sure what question to ask. Okay, well, hopefully this will help you if you're actually listening to everything that I'm saying. Destiny, I'm researching freelance writing and I'm becoming discouraged because I'm not sure what niche to pick. And I don't want to write to sell either. I wouldn't feel passionate about it, but I am willing to do it for a living if I have to. I just want to know if there's another avenue. I don't know what you mean about writing that sells. Do you mean like the product descriptions that I totally hate? Like that type of writing I really don't like. So like if you have a client that has like an e-commerce site with like a whole bunch of like products and they need like a write-up for every product, oh, no, don't hire me for that. Like I would not do that. Is that the type of writing you mean that you don't want to do? I can totally understand that. You can definitely write passionate topics and get paid for it. But it just depends on that passionate topic. I mean, if you're passionate about pets and health, you can find clients in the pet and health industry. I mean, if you're passionate about, I don't even know, let's see, like even parenting and pregnancy, you can pick up some content jobs that way. They may not be the highest paying, but it's something, right? You're getting paid. And what I find is if you're happy doing what you love, it's going to resonate in your business. You're going to feel happier. And it's like the law of attraction. Like this is what happened to me earlier. I wrote my goals for the year and like they started to come true a couple months later. I was shocked by that. So yeah, it's a little like, crystally meta kind of stuff, but it could work, right? Like if you are doing something that you love, people will take notice. Like they will. Project that online. All right. Her next question. Does age matter when it comes to this? I'm 23 and just graduated. No, age doesn't matter. There are a lot of writers that started as a college student. I'm getting a lot of emails from high school students that are interested in freelance writing. So you can get started at any age. And number 3, what is a newbie, no experience freelance writer supposed to charge? It's really up to you, the market, where you live, a lot of factors. But in my course, I do tell students, to base your rate at around 10 cents a word. This is for like blog writing, right? So since I'm a blog writer, that's mainly the type of examples that I provide in Write Your Way to Your First 1K is blog type of content. So I suggest like around 10 cents a word. But it's whatever you feel comfortable. It's whatever you want to make. Right? So you can start at that low rate and then start increasing your rate after every inquiry that you get, after every little email that you receive from prospects. Start upping your rate. Yeah, but again, it's really just up to you and what you feel comfortable with. Steven, I'm trying to get into freelance writing, but the problem I keep coming up against is this niche culture. Everyone wants you to be a specialist at something. The problem is I've never really obsessed over one subject, at least nothing easily marketable. So my question is, are there resources available for those of us who want to write about varied subject matter without any serious education on the topic? For instance, where can we find work where someone has already thoroughly researched the topic at hand, but they might say have poor writing skills and just needs someone to reword their article in a conversational manner? I'm even willing to accept lower levels of pay for this if It will keep me from having to spend 6 to 12 months developing a niche, just so I can finally begin to writing for pay. Thank you so much, Eleanor. Your stuff is great and very encouraging. It shouldn't take you 6 to 12 months to find a niche. You can definitely pick a couple topics to try. I mean, that's what I did when I first started. I picked parenting, health, and like education. Like those were my 3 niches. And if you realize, none of those niches are the niche that I'm writing in now. So what was so great about that strategy is that I wrote in those niches. I found what I liked. And I learned over time that digital marketing was something that I was really passionate about. I was learning it on the side to market my business. I was getting these clients, but I wanted more work. How can I market my business? I was learning about marketing stuff, the psychology of buying, as I was mentioning earlier. All of that stuff was so fascinating to me that I started getting inquiries about that type of content. Like, again, it's like the whole universe. Like you just, I don't know. I'm not really a big believer in that, but like when I think back, there's a lot of things that like the stars aligned or something. But I picked up a blogging gig. I picked up a gig on social media about social media marketing of all things. So try different niches. You're asking about resources about like rewrites. So what you can do, you can start perusing on blogs, business blogs, look at their copy, sign up to their email list, look at their copy. And see if they need help with their writing. I would develop a relationship first. No one wants to be accused of poor writing. All right. I don't like getting emails from people, and I really haven't. But when I first started freelance writing, I got a couple of rude comments about my writing, like skill, my writing level, my grammar errors. I didn't like that. Of course, you don't want to attack people. So you want to make it like in a nice way, like the whole sandwich comment kind of thing, right? Like you say something nice, you offer like a little critique, and then you end with something nice, like you want to sort of package it in that way that you are a collaborator. Okay. So get onto their email lists, read their copy, follow them on social media. If they have a blog, comment on their site, be helpful, let them know that you're a writer. Right? And see if they start calling you instead of the other way around. Okay, I hope that helps even. John, if you could go back in time, what is one thing you would tell yourself? I don't know what I would tell myself if I went back in time. That's a good question. I'm trying to think. What would I tell myself? I think I would tell myself to be prepared for, what am I going to try? Be prepared for like, it's not a roller coaster, but for like the whole online blogging world. Like be prepared for that. I mean, I had a big falling out in the whole blogging side of my business with a couple of bloggers. Like that's something that I would never have known about things like that. So I would tell myself, just be prepared for that type of like those instances happening online, that it could happen. Number 2, where would you see freelance writing 5-10 years from now? Where do you see freelance? Where do I see freelance writing? I think freelance writing is going to be such a big part in the next couple of years. There's going to be more businesses online. I mean, I think I'm hearing like Toys R Us is shutting down. I mean, there's going to be so many more online stores, right? Like I just saw Forever 21 is having financial difficulties. They're closing up shops. People are going online for their needs. So there's going to be this transition in the next 5 to 10 years of brick mortar shops moving online, and then needing copywriters and freelance writers to start their content marketing strategy, right? So you can be there at that right time. And number 4, can you talk about any current or future projects you have going on, additional online courses and ebooks? Oh man. So for about 2 years now, I've been wanting to do a freelance writing niche course. So I'm going to try and see if I can get something under the way this year. But I don't know. It's not like I don't have motivation, but only because from my experience, I didn't have a hard time finding my niche. I wasn't struggling with my niche. And so, but I'm getting so many people struggling with their niche. And so I need to find that connection. And I'm not going to do this course unless I find that connection to help them. Because right now I'm sort of standing on the sidelines saying, well, I didn't have a problem. Like, how can I help you, kind of thing. So I need some more time. And so that's sort of what I'm thinking about as far as like a next project of mine. But really nothing else. Nothing else. I actually did a video of my job board process. But that's only for people that are on my email list. That's an offer that I only offer to my subscribers. So I have a nice little bundle, a niche and pitch bundle for them. So if you're not on my list, go sign up at elnakane.com. And like, I don't know, in like 10 days, you'll get a little sell, like a little thing of my offer kind of thing. All right. So I hope that helped. Now there's a lot of discussion here in the comments. So let's see if I can get to this. Ooh. Glenn, I'm trying to find a niche in academic writing, but I can't get to the audience. Where are they? Ooh, where are they? I don't know. Academic writing. I've never done academic writing. Have you tried like maybe like university career builder sites, like maybe like those like monster.ca, like those types of recruitment sites? Maybe you can like tear down your academic writing and go more like the whole business type of writing. And like maybe you can hit those like type of businesses like recruitment sites. Ooh, yeah, I can't, like, that's so not like even my niche. So I can't even offer suggestion on that. I'm sorry, Glenn. Okay, say something about white papers. I'm highly interested. I did write a post about white papers. Again, I've only written like one major white paper. And so like that was for me, not my thing. I really didn't like it, but I knew a lot of people wanted to learn about that. So I do have a blog post of white paper writing. Of the information that I've gathered. I asked other writers. Ooh, and I have another resource too. So I have my blog post about white paper writing, but over on Freelancer FAQs. So freelancerfaqs.com. There is a blog post about white paper writing. So maybe there's some more tips there. So I'm going to pop that in. It's by Dawn. I think she was a course or is a course student of mine. All right. So maybe that will help you, Glenn. Okay. Tongue-tied. How much blog content do you need to have before moving into freelancing? Also, how do you move from curating your own blog to getting people's money? Ha ha ha. I don't think you need a lot of blog content to start freelance writing. If you're a blogger, 3 to 5 posts and you can start offering your services. Like for my course students, for their portfolio page, I say 3 to 5 samples you can start with. Also, how do you move from curating your own blog to getting people's money? If you want to do blog stuff, you can do like affiliate marketing and product creation and ads. Those are my ways of monetizing my other blogs. So I have other blogs. So like Smart Mom Ideas. Is a blog of mine. And I sell ads on this blog, which you probably won't be able to see because I have my ads turned off. Nope. You see on the bottom? There's an ad right there. So I get a nice little income doing ads on this blog. So if you grow your traffic, get people to your site, you can start selling ads. So right here, I use Mediavine. There's an ad there. You can't really see it, but there's an ad there. So there's that way. So try that. Try some affiliate marketing. Start promoting products on Amazon or of products of courses that you're an affiliate for, things like that, or services and things like that. Okay. Also, being an active writer and being active in your niche community will increase traffic to your. Okay, that's great. Good to know. Sarah, do you have writer websites you can list to look at as examples? I do have. Let's see. I do have a blog post on different writer websites. I have 18 that attract clients. So I have examples of 18 writer websites there. So check that out, Sarah. Hope that helps. Victor, is it possible to start freelance writing under 18? Give it a try, for sure. I know that there are high school students that are learning to freelance write, so I'm sure you can try it out. Hi, Suzette. Glad you're here. All right, I think that's all the questions. Okay, someone says, I'm not published at all. I only have a portfolio. What's a good range for me to charge? Base your writing on your needs and what you need. I tell my course students 10 cents a word. Start with that and go from there. Stephanie, can you advise how you do all of your research when writing a post about something you have zero knowledge of? Well, first of all, I wouldn't pick up gigs that I have zero knowledge of. I'm at this point so that I only pick and choose content or projects that I know that I can write, right? Because clients are hiring me for my expertise in digital marketing. So I'm not going to go and pick up gigs that aren't really in my niche. I just recently picked up a gig in the parenting niche. So I'm not a big fan of writing parenting content. I really am not, but I will do it for this client because the content is only like 500 words. And so, like I said, it takes me 30 minutes to write 1,000 words. So this is a very easy gig on a topic that I'm not that familiar with, but I would use Google. I think I have a whole process of that. Let me see if I can find it for you. I have how to find credible sources. It doesn't really talk about like if I have no knowledge, but I do in my video in this talk about like if I wanted to write about a topic that I knew nothing about, how I would go around finding credible sources for that topic. So you can look at that video and that post. But I just use Google basically. Google totally works. And like YouTube. And then if you know people in that niche, I would call them out. Ask them in an email if they want to do like a little case study, an interview. You can get some information from them too. You can also do that. All right. Another question. Do you have any guide on how to create a blog that can have a good SEO to rank in Google? That takes time. That takes highly valuable content and networking with other people so that they can start linking to you, right? Google looks at those factors. So for example, like on Twins Mommy, I tried to provide very valuable content so that people can link to me, right? So I have a post on like free stock photos. This blog post, people have linked to this blog post many times because it's a resource post. So when they write a blog post about like maybe blogging tools or free photos, they'll link to this blog post and say, check out more places to get free photos. So when you provide content like that, people are going to start to notice and then link to you. So you can start providing that type of content on your blog and then providing like ultimate guides, right? So like my blog post on how to increase blog traffic, this post has 54 simple ways to increase blog traffic, but it's probably almost like 8,000 words, right? I even have like a table of content. That's how big this post is. So when you have big types of guides on your blog, it's going to get noticed. People are going to share it. They're going to link to it. Look at, I have over 3,000 shares. So it's valuable content like this that you want to start providing. So I hope that helped. Oop. Kristen. Hello, Elna. I'm a new freelance writer, and I'm struggling with preparing samples to produce. I have experience in financial industry, domestic violence, and foster care, but I have no idea how or even what kinds of articles to create that are focused on these topics. I don't know much about domestic violence and foster care if there are actual businesses that are marketing that type of content to make money for them. Do you see? I don't see that. But in the financial industry, I do know there are tons of businesses that talk about that content and they make money. So credit card companies, right, have sites and blogs that talk about financial stuff and they make money, right? So you need to start writing topics and finding gigs on those types of topics that businesses have because they are blogging about it because they make money from that topic. So you need to think about that. And I do know that there are people that love like the hobby type of writing, and you can find gigs. I mean, I did write a post about creative freelance jobs. So I usually, in this post, I list a lot of magazines. So you can get started with writing magazines in the foster care industry, in the domestic violence. Maybe there are some magazines around that niche and you can get featured there, right? So you can have that type of writing. You can show that in your sample that you've been, featured in these magazines or you've written for these sites. On my Innovative Inc. portfolio page, I mostly have digital marketing, but I do have some WordPress samples, and I do have some productivity samples, right? So I do have some other samples, but I get mostly gigs for digital marketing. All right. Tiffany, do you think someone should create samples first before they start pitching? Yeah. You should definitely create samples first before you start pitching, because then it'll help you when you start pitching. You can link to your samples in that pitch. All right. All right. Not two more questions. Oh, wait, maybe two more questions. What advice would you give to newbies when it comes to online freelance writing? You want to have make sure that you have the motivation to keep at this, the dedication to keep at this. It's a lonely thing. You're doing this on your own. Even though there's a big community online, you're still having to be your own cheerleader. So, the biggest tip I can give you is stay persistent and stay motivated and committed to this. Because it is a long road and it's a windy road, and you're going to get successes and maybe some failures, but you're going to keep at it. And that's what's going to set you apart from others that fail at this. All right, Tiffany, how long do you think someone should take in creating first set of samples? Would a week to create 3 samples be too long to get going? I don't know. I don't know how long it took me to create my samples. I think, as a brand new writer, it's going to take you a while. So a week should be fine. Give yourself a week. That's no problem. So you can set a deadline for sure. I usually set deadlines for pitching. I give myself 2 weeks of pitching every day and try to pitch, to 10 places every day or 5 places every day for 2 weeks. I do things like that. That's motivating for me. And I usually can land gigs that way. Okay. There's a question. How many hours do I work each day? In the summer, it's less and less. I'm thinking 4 hours right now, 4 hours a day. Not every day. maybe 3 hours on other days, 2 hours on other days. In the fall, I can work around 5 to 6 hours a day. Kelly, realistically, how many blogs can a full-time freelancer write and manage? Do you mean blog posts? How many blog posts can you write full-time and manage, or actual blogs? As a freelance writer, if you just want to freelance write, then have your freelance writing website and maybe one other blog. That's realistic. If you want to move into the blogging world, then you can have multiple blogs because you can scale your business. I have 7 blogs. I don't write on all 7 blogs. I hire people to write, ghostwriters. And I have my husband to help me. So that's a whole other business of what I'm doing. All right, Tiffany, what do you think of contacting brands that don't seem to have a blog or frequently updated blog on their site and offering content? Editorial calendar. That's a great tactic. Try it. I think that's a totally great strategy, and I would totally give that a go. So see what happens. It's worth a try, right? Okay, Tiffany again. Would you recommend someone taking short courses to gain knowledge of a topic via Coursera or edX? I've never heard of those platforms. If it's worth it, if you think it's worth it, try one and see. I don't see why not. Megan, I'm predominantly a creative writer, but I'm considering freelance content writing because I was recently laid off. I already have a website and blog dedicated to my creative writing. Would it be acceptable to add a freelance writing page to this site? Yeah, totally. You can add a freelance writing page to that site, a portfolios page. See how that goes. If you're finding that you're not picking up consistent gigs, I would try and do what Chelsea did, have her blog, Motherhood and Mayhem, and then have a freelance writing website. So she has Simply Written, and see if that works, because that would be the most converting for sure. Oh, Kelly asks how many hours, how many blogs? Okay, hopefully I answered that. Oh yeah, she says, okay, thank you. All right, woo, I answered all the questions. Yay. Okay, everyone. I hope that was helpful. If you need any more help, feel free to go to elnakane.com. I'm writing a post right now about writing samples. So I have some tips on how to write a writing sample for a job. So I'm hopefully going to get that tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. If you want to make a living as a writer, then feel free to check out Write Your Way to Your First 1K. That's my most comprehensive course, and I update that course frequently. I recently added a lesson. I added a new pitching tracker sheet, so I'm really excited about that. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great night.